I'm muted. That's a great start. That's a brilliant start. Fantastic. Oh,
you've done well there, boy.
There you go. These things happen. There's so many buttons to press here. It's like the flight deck of the Starship Enterprise, honestly. How are you, my friend?
That one, son. I'm not bad, mate. I've kind of enjoyed the little bit of homework behind behind this. I have to say, it's I think this could be a bit interesting, mate. And I'm hoping we get some feedback and some great comments in the chat. So let's see where it gets us, shall we?
Yeah. And as usual, guys, thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, and what are they doing with the belt today, Duke?
Well, considering I did ask my mum to jump on and watch, I'm not going to be anything so crass, and we will just say, click the bell this evening, because Mummy Stribling might be watching. I don't know whether she is, but she might be.
Yeah, and you're not too big to go over her knee, let me tell you.
No, not at all. And my Alexa's decided to kick in again, Rob.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, whilst you're sorting Alexa out, I'll draw everybody's attention to the appeal for Isla. Guys, you know the crack. She's 7 years of age. She's got neuroblastoma. She can't get the treatment to help her that's in this country, and her family are having to deal with everything that pertains to this situation where they've got a very sick child in this particular situation. So this campaign is still ongoing. It's now concentrating on trying to give Isla a little bit of enrichment in her life, give her a bit of enjoyment, because it's a tough last few years that she's had to sort of fight through with this particular illness. So this is now sort of concentrating on trying to enrich her existence, her life, and trying to give her reasons to smile. So please put this onto your social media platforms. It's in the description below YouTube and Facebook. Copy and paste it, put it onto your social media platforms. If you're in a position where you can put a few coppers into the pot, you've got the Just Giving link there. Help yourself. No donation is too small. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your time and attention. I'm just going to turn my attention to the comments though, because who've we got in? We got Kent's in. 3-4 in January in the first 2 weeks of the window. Evening, gents. Hope you're well, Kent. Pete Chapman's in, and obviously you've responded. And Mr. Walsh is also in the building. Right. Okay, let's get down to it then, shall we, Duke? I set you a bit of a challenge, didn't I?
You did, and I've got to say, sorry, I was just having my feet up there. I was kind of nice and relaxed, because those of you that can see and know the background of me, this is all missing here, because I am looking to move soon and move on from my pub. So I'm currently sat at a kind of cupboard with no leg room. It's very uncomfortable, Rob. I'm not going to lie to you. They're drawers, so if you hear banging and clanging, it's because I'm smashing my knees against the bloody shelving. There, see. So yeah, sent me a bit of homework, Kent. He did, and I can see Kent's comment in there about 3 or 4 in January. Well, Kent, I have some news for you. What I'm currently looking at in front of me is about 15 players. Now, these are only players that I would like. I have my trusty book. These are only players that I would like. These are only players that I was, it's bloody, hang on. I'm going to write one of them. Yeah, sorry, Ken. I've just banged on the wall, get my daughter off of Overwatch for maybe half hour. She can go back on it at 8:30. Yeah, I've got a list of 12. These are over for me, Gatesy. Probably the next 2, possibly even 3 windows that I feel would really strengthen, especially what I've gone with, would really strengthen our situation. I agree with what Ken says. 3 or 4 in the first 2 weeks in January, preferably even the first 10 days of January. Get the job done, get it out of the way, and then we can focus on what we're doing. Obviously, what Andy says there, central defender, striker, and maybe Lingard. Well, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think the Lingard one is looking more and more likely like it's going to be done. So I've not included Lingard in my list.
Fair enough.
I've kind of gone with kind of 8 now, and then maybe 6 spread over the other 2 windows. So one in some in January, some in July, and then maybe even January next season as well. So yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. See, I've kind of got my list in front of me. I know you've got yours, so let's have some fun, shall we?
Okay, well, so let's start with players currently out of contract as of right now. So players that right now are unemployed and we could literally sign tomorrow. Is there anybody in your homework, the list? And I'll tell you what, I'll get it up for people to see on transfer. On transfer. No, the page. Nothing else. Nothing else. So that's Transfer Market, and it's got a veritable cornucopia of free agents. Did you like that word, cornucopia?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's being polite to what's on there. To be fair, there's a reason. There's a reason they're not at clubs at the moment.
Yeah, true. Hang on, wrong button.
Hello. What is
going? Hang on.
Oh,
there we go.
You cannot be trusted. We both agreed on one here, Rob, didn't we?
Yes.
With regards to this, when you consider that, I know Gio put a video out. No, he didn't. Gonzo put a video out earlier on today, stating about Aaron Cresswell, left-footed centre back, and obviously then we'd have to dick around with a formation change. And listen, I'm not generally disagreeing with what he's saying, but there is one gentleman, as you pointed out to me earlier, and like I said, we both tend to agree on this, who is currently out of contract, who is a left-footed, left-sided centre-back with some Premier League experience, Rob, as you mentioned to me earlier. So, he was your suggestion. So, fire away, Squire.
Yeah, I mean, I picked him out straight away because as soon as Ogbonna got injured, I thought to myself, well, who could we bring in, not in January, but right now? So I looked at that list and there was one name that jumped out at me. As you say, he's got Premier League experience. Not only that, he's a Premier League winner. He's 30 years of age and his name is Iliquim Mangala. And ordinarily, this would not be a player I would normally consider. I have to be honest. It would not be a player that if you was asking me, we need a centre-back in January, say, who would you sign? He wouldn't even be on my radar. No. However, when I looked at that list on Transfer Market and I'm looking down and I'm like, right, if we needed to sign someone right here, right now, not January, but now, to replace Ogbonna, even just until the end of the season, potentially, who could we get in? And his name popped straight up. And I thought, now, he's, like I say, he's a left-footed centre-back, and he's 30, like I say, he's 30 years of age. So it's not like he's 36, 37 or anything like that. And he's got Premier League experience. So it's not like he'd be coming into a league that's completely alien to him. So I looked at that and went, do you know what? He would be a player that, to the end of the season, I think we could do an awful lot worse, to be fair.
Yeah, listen, it saves, let's be fair, it saves the dicking around, mate, of a changing of formation, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. He comes with Premier League experience. He comes with a point to prove, for want of a better word, mate. I mean, he's there to try and prove a point, isn't he? So, I mean, when you look at essentially what you're going to want or what you're going to need, it kind of fits. Kind of fits where we want him to be, really, doesn't he? Point to prove. It's not going to be a huge. It's not going to be a huge wage, is it? Really, considering he's been out of contract. What are we talking? Maybe a year, maybe 18 months. Give him an 18-month contract. So it ain't going to be a bad shout, mate. I mean, listen, I ain't against it. And, in a situation where beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I say, he would not be like I say, I stress again, he's not a player that I would have turned around and gone, oh, we got to get this player in his quality. No,
Nah.
he wouldn't have been on my radar, but purely as a stopgap, as a bit of experience, he's got experience of playing in the Premier League, and fundamentally, he's a left-footed centre back.
Yeah.
Tick, tick, tick. So he would be
Everything.
able to slot in alongside whether it would obviously be Zuma because he's the record signing. And I'm not even saying that he would be a first choice, but he could be on the bench and would be someone that if you could see, like Saturday, let's be honest, everybody looked at Zuma and Dawson and went, that's not working. It just is not working for whatever reason. And it could be that he might have done he might have been a better fit rather than having two right-footed centre backs and so one of them's playing on the wrong side, as it were. I mean, Zuma looked really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, Kent thinks he was crap at City, and listen, I don't disagree with that. As I say, Kent, the only reason I picked him out is because he's available right now. Rather than waiting till January, I looked at his name, and as I say, I thought, well, if there was one name on that list that fitted the bill, that was it.
Trust me, I looked.
Yeah,
trust me, I looked.
There's nothing else. I mean, there's literally nothing else there. I mean, it's pretty bare as far as what we need is concerned. As far as I mean, Jack Wilshere's in the list. I mean, Jesus, no.
Yeah, again, if you ended up in a situation where you had a Rice or a Souček injured, then in the same way I'm looking at Mangala now, I'd look at Jack Wilshere to come in for a 6-month pay-as-you-play contract. If we were in a situation where that's what we needed and that's what's available, and like I say, beggars cannot be choosers, then that's the situation we find ourselves in. But listen, again, as you pointed out to me at the start, mate, when you don't know any of my choices right now. And as I said to you before we came live, I've tried to be as diplomatic with it as I can. Obviously, I know Kylian Mbappe is out of contract. I've not added him to my list because
it's not realistic.
It's not happening. What I've gone for, as I say, my first 6 names that are here are ones that we've been linked with, and I'm going to chew the bones out of that. Then I've got 2 that are my choice that are out of contract at the end of this season. Yeah. And then I've got 6 that we haven't been linked with that are we were linked with 1. The other 5 are my kind of go-tos. Now, I'm fully aware.
Fo, I don't, like I say, I agree, but he's the only one on that list that fitted what we need right now. And as I say, it was purely as a backup.
These boys in the chat, they're either going to come across and they're going to agree, they're going to disagree for their own reasons. And that's fine. They might laugh at me at some of my names that I've got on my list. I've got 8 that we haven't been linked with, or 7 that we haven't been linked with out of all of them. And they might think, what am I smoking? What have I been taking? Because they might think that a couple of them are a bit of a stretch. Yeah, I've put a bit of thought into it, and as we all know, I'm a big Bundesliga fan. Yeah. Okay, and there are a few Bundesliga players in this. For the simple fact is, I know my Bundesliga, and I really do feel that these guys could fit. Now, there is very much of a chance that some of the big European guns do come in and show an interest in a couple that I've got. If they go elsewhere, they go elsewhere. All I'm saying is I think they'd be a great fit for us. And if we moved quick enough, that we can make a difference. I'm gonna I've got one that you might change your mind on there, Fo, to be fair, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Okay. Well, let's go to the next category. Players who are out of contract this summer 2022. Talk to me, Duke. What you got?
So I've got 6 that we're linked with. All right. Okay. So these are the first 6. Now, the first one, goalkeeper. Out of contract. We've been linked with him. West Bromwich Albion, first choice. Obviously, Sam Johnson now. Okay. We're currently looking at a situation where, it doesn't look like we're going to have enough games played for Areola. And even if we do, Fab's going to be at the tail end, as we've already discussed. Okay. So, I think Sam Johnson on a free isn't a bad shout. Again, we've been linked with him. I did see Onana in there.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
But I just think with Sam Johnson, I think Craig, Aaron Ramsdale proved the point. Is that you playing music, or is that me coming through?
Hang on. Let me just. Yeah.
Because this lovely website certainly does have its own.
It's
its own adverts playing through.
Yes, it does.
I just think, I think Sam Johnson is a good shout. He's
how you doing,
got the time. He's got the experience in this country. Aaron Ramsdale's proved that he can come. You can come from a, shall we say, a lesser team. I don't want that to sound harsh to the likes of, the Sheffield United and these. So, I think Sam Johnson and Areola would be nice. But again, if we had to pick one, I think I'd go with Sam for the simple fact is that it's not going to cost us.
And he's got Premier League experience, hasn't he? He's an England international, 28. By the time he's available in the summer, he'll be 29, which is really no age for a goalkeeper, is it?
Gives us a minimum of 3 years with him as a number one, mate, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's a great shout. But again, he'll be out of contract in July next year. Again, great goalkeeper, fantastic goalkeeper. But again, just depends on how he comes back from that, really. But again, if you had to pick out, if you take two, both of them, couldn't you, on a freebie? You know what I mean? So, that was my first pick, mate, to be honest with you. And I'm working through from front back to front on my in my positions anyway. So yeah.
Well, I've got a name for you, and this was, and I'm sticking with goalkeeper right now. And this is a guy that when I did a stream with James Nedner from the Anvil, his name was mentioned as well, and it's this chap here. Now, being you're a bit of a buff on Bundesliga, how would this float your boat?
See, now I noticed him and it caught my attention. Same age as Johnson. I think the downside, without being rude, is in the Bundesliga, you kind of have a set in much the same sort of thing as the Premier League, but your gap between your top lot and your bottom lot are even further apart. Now, Armenia, Bielefeld is just around the corner from where my dad was born, actually, in Germany. And I do tend to watch them a lot. He's a good goalkeeper. He's a good shot stopper. Whether or not the step from, whether he's going to be able to make the step from, the bottom half of the Bundesliga, if you will, on a regular basis to a side that are competing in Europe and, pushing for Champions League football top four, is he going to be the right fit? I don't know.
I see what you did there, Fo. I see what you did there. Very good.
I just don't know. I just don't know if that's going to be. That might be a step too far for him. To be fair, good shout, good player. I'm just not sure if it's going to be too much of a step.
From what I've heard, he's essentially Germany's fourth choice goalkeeper. Is that right?
Yeah. He's a good shot stopper. Safe hands, but if you're looking kind of Premier League level, probably 8th place and down would be a good fit. Might be a different story if he had better players in front of him. I don't know. It's very difficult to ascertain on that sense. But listen, 4th choice Germany goalkeeper, plays in a decent league. I wouldn't be averse to it, mate. It's a good shout.
Okay, fair enough. Who else you got on your list of players out of contract in the summer? Did any of the players that Foe mentioned were hang on a minute, let me just wind it back.
No.
Any of these three, were they involved?
No.
Okay.
So again, my second choice, which is one that we've been linked with, and I just want to chew and go through the system, go through it with the players we've been linked with. Do I think they're going to be a good fit for us? And then move on. Now, Rudiger is on my list ahead of Tarkowski, and the reason he's ahead of Tarkowski is, again, Premier League experience. Personally, I think he's a good centre back. I know he gets vilified a little bit for some mistakes and everything else. Just quickly jumping back, and I want to take that one from Kent. Yes, really, really good goalkeeper. If it's the guy I think he's talking about. Again, I can only go by what I've seen on YouTube because I've not seen a great deal of him outside of that.
Yeah,
but he was named after the team, wasn't he? And it just so happened that
he's now playing for him. He's like 21, isn't he?
He is, yeah. But his surname's the same as the kit colour that they play in. It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
So this guy, I think, is 28. Again, he's kind of one of them players. I think, in a sense, a bit like Lingard, in a way. I think he would benefit from a move away from Chelsea.
Do you not think they're going to offer him a new contract in the meantime?
Who knows, mate? See, this wasn't part of our discussion, and this wasn't part of my homework, was it? You just went, go find some players. And this is a guy we've been linked with.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like him.
Yep.
I've got another centre back of my choosing, which I'll cover afterwards. Yeah, it's a good shout from Kent now. Again, I think the guy that I've got in mind, I'm not sure if he's left-footed, but I think he can play both sides of centre back. But I'll get there in a bit. He might be one of the guys that this lot sit there and go, "Shut up, dude, we've got no chance," or they'll go, "He's pony," and then I'm out. So, but yeah, I like Rudiger, and I think I'd like him, but I wouldn't be adverse to Ben Mee either. But I think for me, I'd go Rudiger first.
Okay, fair enough. Who else you got on your list of out of contract in the summer?
We were linked with him yesterday. I think it came out.
Right.
He is a attacking midfielder.
Right.
He is he's 29 years old.
Okay.
Playmaker-esque type player who has 4 Champions League trophies to his name, 2 Spanish La Liga championships to his name.
Okay.
Spanish Cup winning, Spanish League Cup, Spanish Super Cup ×2, and 4 FIFA Club World Club Cup winner things. Them bullshit.
Are you on about Isco?
I am indeed. See, we were linked with him yesterday.
We were. And
I kind of was, if I'm honest, a little bit aroused by that. I'm not going to lie. I think he is.
Your mum might be watching.
That might be the hello. I'm just checking. I think he would be an amazing addition to us if we could get him. I know the likes of Arsenal and the others are looking at him, but why would you go for a team in the top 8 when you could go to a team in the top 4 currently?
Fair.
I like the look of him. 13.5 million. Yeah, there you go. It's the same screen I've got up on mine at the minute. We have Jackie Wells saying hello.
That's my sister-in-law
on Facebook. So hello, Jackie.
Brisbane.
Mate, I'd love him. I'd love Isco right now. I think out of contract in the summer, you probably get him for about 10 million in January, to be honest with you. If you want to go in early and get him, I'd take
He's
him all
quite
day long.
versatile, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd take him all day long.
Isco. Yeah, I mean, what's he got? He's got 38 caps for Spain. Real Madrid player, 29 years of age. So by the time the transfer window, he's 30. So he's still a decent age.
Listen, and he can play. He can play on the left as well. Our other Spanish, international out there. So it's someone that can also help him out there, as to a degree. So that one really got my juices flowing, shall we say? I really like, and the fact that we can be linked with players like that, just shows you how far we're coming.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Are there any other out of contract in the summer players on this list?
So, for the ones that we've been linked with, then I'll give you the other three. Andrea Bellotti, that's a forward striker. He, I like him. I think he's got all the tools to be a success for us. I think he's a good, kind of a stocky centre forward. Could play the same sort of role as Mikel Antonio up front. And again, looking at that, it's a lot of money there. The fact that he's still worth on this 31.5 mil, but his contract runs out in.
He's a captain as well, isn't he? So he's obviously
months.
got leadership qualities.
I think it has been noted that he's probably not going to sign a new contract. So again, he could be one of these ones that we look at in January. If that, Kent, yes, I don't think you're mad, Kent, at all. I really like that young lad. I agree with that.
Yeah, he does look. He does look mustard.
Listen, Kent, I don't think you're mad. I think he's a cracking player. I don't fucking go for both. Let's just get greedy, shall we?
Buy one, get one free.
We'll get one free, and we'll go with Carvalho in January. So then, obviously, we spoke about him.
He likes a bargain, doesn't he?
Hey, I've got that. We spoke about him the other day, mate. Eddie Nketiah, again, another player we've been linked with. I wouldn't necessarily, pay a fee, outright for him if we could wait until July and get him on a free. I think that's a great, a great piece of business. And then Divock Origi, again, another player we've been linked with out of contract in the summer. Who would I prefer out of him or Bellotti? I think I'd probably take Origi personally, just because Origi has that Premier League experience. That would be the only reason that if I had to make a choice out of the two, that I'd go with Origi, is because he has Premier League experience.
Yeah,
that'd be the only reason.
I think he's a cracking player. I really do think that he's a player I would love to see in a claret and blue shirt, mate. I really would. He doesn't play a lot, but he always seems to score goals whenever he's given an opportunity. He always seems to score or create goals. For his club team.
One of the reasons he caught my attention.
Yeah, I'd take him if he's on a free. The only thing that would worry me, if we went for him in the January transfer window, would they then try and leverage in? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you have him if we can have Jared Bowen in part exchange. Well, that would be the thing that would worry me.
This is why you wait, isn't it? And this is why you go for mate. Even if you want to be clever about it and really put the pressure on Antonio, is you get Bellotti in January. 10, 15 million, and then you get Origi in the summer if you feel it's necessary.
Fair enough. Anyone else out of contracts in the summer that is on your shopping list?
Okay, so these two are my shopping list. These two, the next two players are two guys that I feel if we had to make a decision, of what I've just mentioned, centre back in Rudiger, or this first gentleman, then I'm going. I'm going this guy first. He's a World Cup winner with Germany. Plays for Dortmund. No, he doesn't. He plays for Mönchengladbach. Sorry, I've got a Dortmund player coming up later. Plays for Mönchengladbach. Matthias Ginter, centre back. Absolute.
I'll see if I can find him on Transfer Market.
Beast. He is a monster of a centre back. He can
only 27.
Yep, he can play anywhere in the back line apart from left back. But he can play on the left and the right hand side of centre back. He can also play right back. He also can play in a holding role as well.
Yeah,
as you'll see when you scroll up in a minute.
Yeah.
He's a solid player. He's been with
centre back, defensive mid, right back. Yeah.
He's been with he left Dortmund, in fact, to join them back in 2017. He joined them, as you can see there. So
yeah,
I think he really is. I think he'd be my go-to. I think I'm not sure what his wage is, to be fair. I didn't see what he earns. I don't know where.
I don't know if Dortmund are sort of like real or Mönchengladbach would pay him significantly sort of like ridiculous wages.
Listen,
would they, even despite the fact he's a World Cup winner?
Wages in Germany are completely set out completely differently, aren't they, to what we do over here? Now, as I said, Hammerhead, I'd take Ginter over Rudiger. If I had the choice out of the two, then I would I'd take Ginter hands down all day long. Absolute beast at the back, and really would fit with the way Moyes plays.
Yeah, and so but by the time he's available on a free, he'll be 28, which for me is prime years of a centre back, surely.
Yep.
And a guy that's won the World Cup, Jesus.
Well, he turns 28.
Your nose up at that.
No, turns 28 in January. Very, very, like I say, very good player. And I know my Bundesliga against him, and as I've said, numerous times, I love watching that league. I love watching that football. And he doesn't get beaten much in the air, when he's up in the aerial duels. I just listen. If we can get hold of that guy in January for a fee or July for nothing, then I personally think we'd be laughing.
What would you say if we was to go for him in January? What do you think's a fair price for a guy that's only got 6 months left of his contract at Mönchengladbach?
Well, you're looking at the moment they're saying he's worth about 24. You could probably half that, mate. To be fair, if they either risk losing him for absolutely Jack Diddley's squat. I mean, between 10 and 12 million, I think, or maybe even between 8 and 12 would be 8 million would be a steal. Let's put it that way. 8 million, even with only 6 months left on his contract, would be a steal.
Fair enough. Anyone else in this category before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, his teammate.
Okay. What's his position?
He's a central defensive midfielder, with Mr. Noble and with Alex Crowell not overly impressing at the moment. I'm looking at the Swiss.
I know where you're going.
Central defensive midfielder. He's played 40 times for his country, scored 3 goals. Dennis Lemmy Zakaria.
Okay, sell this guy to me, Duke.
Oh, mate, if you think Souček is good,
okay,
this guy for me is on par with Big Sue. This guy is on par with Big Sue. He's, as you can see there, 2 goals and an assist so far in 10 games this season. Again, much like Big Sue at the moment, he's kind of being held back a little bit. He's kind of being told to sit a little bit more than I think he likes to. Listen, if if the whole Krell thing doesn't work out, which it really doesn't look like it's going to, he is a tank. Okay, an absolute tank.
Okay. Defensive mid, central mid, and centre back.
Yep. See, again, you've got to be. What we've got to look at is how these guys are going to fit, and he fits a Moyes style of play. And I just there's something about him, Rob. He's only he got injured. Sorry, he missed the first 2 games of the season this season due to fitness issues and everything else. And he came on in the second half of the 3rd game and scored. And they lost 2-1. He then has played 90 minutes for the rest of the games he's appeared in. I think he would be. He would complement the 2 boys, and if we don't sign Alex Crowell, or we don't, we don't sign Alex Crowell, or we don't say, we don't, possibly lose Souček, I think he'd be the way to go.
Fair enough. So that's that could be an interesting little raid on Borussia Mönchengladbach, couldn't it? Getting 2 of their players on freeze in the summer.
I'd say, listen, I would quite happily take Ginter, Zakaria, and Origi in the summer. It looks like, obviously, as I've said, I've not brought Lingard into this equation because that looks like that's pretty much done. But if I had to pick out of every player that I've just given you, if I had to pick guaranteed 3, it would be Ginter, Zakaria, and Origi as the guys that I'd bring in, just because I think
they cover a number of positions between the 3 of them, don't they? Because Origi can play wide left, wide right, and through the middle. Ginter's a centre back and he was right back as well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I think he can play. And then Zakaria's central mid, defensive mid, and centre back. So you've got a number of players there that can sort of. David Moyes can move around, and we know that David Moyes likes players with a little bit of versatility about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Zakaria for me, and there's a couple of guys on my next list that would complement all of this. Would absolutely complement all of this. Trudge. Ginter was right-footed, but can play, and he's comfortable on both sides of the centre back coin. So he's not. If you look at, we were talking about Zuma a couple of days ago, Gatesy, weren't we? In the Wolves thing, and he doesn't look comfortable on the left-hand side of defence.
Nah.
Whereas Ginter is. So again, for me, it's just a hands down decision. So, of my 6 that we were linked with, obviously we've done the 2 goalkeepers. You've already mentioned yours.
Yeah.
Were there any others that I've mentioned that were in your list? How many did you have for your next or the end of this season contract? What was your?
I haven't got a list. I got you doing all the legwork.
You got me doing all the legwork. I think you're taking the piss.
I'm just button monkey. I'm button monkey.
See what I've put up with. He throws ideas at me and then goes, "You go." Dude.
Listen. Don't you feel sorry for him?
Right.
He gets well paid. Don't you worry. he gets well paid.
Not yet.
For his services.
Not yet. I don't. In kind.
Okay, so that's the list of players who are out of contract this summer. Now, we also took it a stage further because I was aware that Gonzo did one on Hammers Chat over a couple of days where he was looking at players out of contract in the summer.
Yep.
And we've taken it a step further, and we're also going to look at players who are out of contract the summer after that. So essentially 18 months left on their contract, more or less. So talk to me. Was there anybody on that list of players?
Yes, 6.
Ooh, 6. Hello.
So first one I'm going to throw at you is a left back. Again, straight out of Germany. Rafael Guerrero.
Oh,
He is it's a Portuguese left back.
yeah. Just loading it up now.
So far this season, 7 games, 3 goals and an assist.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, I got him.
He's not. I think he's about 5'8", so he's not exactly lanky, shall we say. He's not exactly tall, but he can play left back, left midfield. He can also play in a central mid role as well. If again things go a little bit wrong, injuries, whatever. He's currently there you go, it's 36 million quid, according to Transfer Market. Now, obviously, if he does not sign a new contract with Dortmund, which if he does, you can't blame him. You know, they're a big side. They're perennial runners up, really, aren't they, at the moment to a Munich side.
It's a bit of a boring league, don't you? I know you're quite an expert in the Bundesliga, but it is quite samey. It's like, you might as well just give it to
off the top team. If you remove Munich out of that, yes, you have Dortmund. Below that, it's fantastic, and I mean, tactically, they have some of the best coaches in the world. And they're unknown. You know, Tuchel came out of here. He was at Dortmund, wasn't he, for a while? Klopp. I mean, tactically, they are all the way through that league. They are very, very clever. Unfortunately, when you've got 2 teams in the sense that, well, maybe even 3 if you include Leipzig, who are, you know, resoundingly hated throughout the Bundesliga. But I just think this guy coming in would solve our left back problems. I mean, he's 27, so it'll be 28, 29. December 22nd. So it'd actually be 29 going on 30 by the time his contract runs out.
Yeah.
But again, it's not the end of the world when you can get, you know, 3 or 4 years out of him at a decent level.
And just to bring up Troj's comment, I mean, don't forget that's the valuation on Transfer Market. If we was to, let's say, for argument's sake, get to the end of this season, and he's still only got 12 months left on his contract, at that point, his parent club, Dortmund, have the decision to either sell him at a reasonable cost, or basically get nothing for him if it goes 12 months down the track. So, as I say, that's just a valuation on Transfer Market. Same as anything, someone's only worth what the buying club is prepared to pay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as I've said, I've kind of worked it in a way that these guys are. I've just
got to disappear just for two chicks. You carry on talking to the masses.
Make sure you take your headset off, though.
Of course.
So, Ken, I know what you're saying. Taglia, if it goes, whatever. We were linked with him, wasn't we, back in August? And I think the reason that was put out there was because they were trying to drum up a bit of business. Now, I'm not sure if it's true, but I did read somewhere yesterday, I think around the same time as the Isco thing came out, that Liverpool were going to be interested. I don't know why. When you consider that, you know, their left backs, their full backs that they have in Robertson and Trent. But you know, let's be honest. If he's given a choice of us or Liverpool, you know. So, but I don't know much about him. I've not. I tend to watch a lot of Bundesliga football. I like the Bundesliga. So the guys, there's a few guys here, including at least another 3, I think, possibly 3 more players that I've got that are, you know, two players, sorry, that are straight out of the Bundesliga again, because I just think that they'd be a good fit for what we're doing. I'll wait for Gatesy before I come back with the next one. Guys, as you can see, Kent's throwing some names in and around the chat. I want you to come in. There's 12 of you watching. Let's come in and give us, give us some ideas. Give us some other names to chew the bones off of, because meat off the bones. Because it's all well and good us sitting here and me throwing names at you guys out there in the universe, but especially names that I know, names that I've watched consistently. But let's have some of your names. Let's get me and Gatesy discussing on your names. Mark, yeah. See, again, good player, solid player. I think he has. Not sure when he's out of contract, to be honest with you. Just having a quick look now. Again, decent age, 25, centre back, plays for Leverkusen. Now, where am I? So he's a right-footed centre back. Oh, there we go. He's a right-footed centre back. He can play both sides. His contract actually ends 2025, so he's a little bit out of our kind of remit to what we're looking for. He's worth just under 20 million quid as it stands. You know what? I probably wouldn't say no. But if I had to choose between him and Ginter, I'd take Ginter because it's more cost effective. Mike Martial, yes, I think he'd be a fantastic addition. I really do rate Martial if he was to come to us. But again, it's the question of whether he does. And like Rob said earlier, the conversation between us and Liverpool with Origi and Bowen going the other way, you know damn well that a Martial conversation is going to involve Declan Rice at some point. So I'd rather avoid that than, kind of having that conversation.
That one there, I think Yarmolenko's going to be gone in the summer, to be fair, Trodge.
I don't drive, but I'm willing to drive him wherever he needs to go to get him gone.
How about, because Kent's just making this point here about punt money signings from the Championship. How's because there was a kid from Barnsley, I remember he was it Callum Styles, Kent? I've got a funny feeling it was Callum Styles. I noticed that Barnsley are struggling a little bit this season. I don't know how he's personally done in that.
Who's the Yank?
Well, DK. He was on loan there last season. He's gone back to Orlando.
Yeah. No, he's gone back, but he was a good player. I liked him. Rob, you've frozen. You've frozen. I've got perfect internet. This is you.
For a change, it was me. For a change,
I like it.
Makes a difference. Makes a difference. Yeah, no, Callum. I'm sure it was Callum Styles. I know that Barnsley have struggled this season, but I don't know whether he's personally struggled and all the rest of it. I'm sure that was the player that Kent recommended when we was doing.
Young lad at Millwall.
Daryl Dyke was another, or DK to give him his name. Yeah, I mean, I know that Russ Spudden, when he did You Are the Manager in the summer, he was a player that he liked the look of.
So,
who's
the young lad at Millwall?
At Millwall, what, Jed Wallace?
That's the one.
I think he's out of contract in the summer, I believe.
Yeah, I think I saw him on there. Again, don't know too much about him, to be honest. I think Kent rates him. Because I think I've seen Kent mention his name before on one of our videos.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Who else you got on your list for freebies in summer 2023?
Well, again, I've got another one that we've not been linked with, but he's one that I do. Again, another I rate quite highly.
It was Styles. I thought so.
Straight out of Germany. Is Manuel Akanji. Another.
Okay,
Swiss.
what's his position?
He's a centre back.
Okay.
And again, he plays for Dortmund. He's 26, so by the time it comes round, he'll be 28. So again, another good age that, it gives. It's a significant significant time frame, if you will.
What was his name again? Manuel Akanji.
Manuel Akanji.
Got him. Yeah, I got him.
Very, very solid player. Again,
sell him to me.
He's again comfortable on both sides of centre back. Again, another monster in the air. He loses very few aerial duels. I've liked him for a good number of years now. I mean, he joined Dortmund back in 18 from Basel. It cost them 20 million quid, just under 20 million quid back then. Again, him and Ginter would be a fantastic pairing at the back. They certainly would, again, if you're looking going forward, if you look at like we are currently with the likes of Dawson Zuma, these two boys would be a massive threat from set pieces. Massive threat from set pieces. And again, the bonus is that they both speak a common tongue. Jake Cooper, good player as well. Jed Wallace and Jake Cooper, yes. I've read a lot about them. I don't know them. I don't know about them personally, but I've read a lot about them. But mate, again, absolute beast, monster in the air.
Yep.
He loses very, very few aerial duels. Hasn't scored this season, but he's an absolute threat from corners, free kicks, etc. And when you consider just how good we are with our delivery from those things, I mean, I'd guarantee you it'd pop up with a few goals personally.
Okay. Who else you got on your little shopping list? Bearing in mind it's Black Friday on Friday, so possibly these might be available on some sort of Black Friday deal. I don't know.
Well, if I had to choose out of every single one between Dennis Zakaria and this guy, if we were to lose either Big Sue or Deck, in fact, the next two, I'm going to throw them both at you at the same time because they both play the same sort of role. Yves Bissouma from Brighton.
Oh, yes. Now hang on, where is he? Oh no, it's all right. I've still got it set on defenders because he's a midfielder, isn't he? Hang on.
I'll give him to you first. Would be Yves Bissouma.
Just wait for it to load up.
Because I'm sick and tired of talking about German players, if I'm honest with you. And I've got another German player coming up next. So Bissouma would be, again, I know he's kind of been linked with quite a few teams in the Premier League. I know he was linked with
was he linked with
United.
Arsenal?
I think he was linked with United and he was linked with Arsenal at one point.
Yeah.
Again, East side's right, but just because they don't sell him to us, he's only got 18 months left on his contracts, which is the ones we're talking about at the minute, East side. So, it might not be a case. He might run down his contract and we can get him on a free, or they end up having to sell, August or January next year kind of thing.
Has he been injured this season? Because he's only played 8 Premier League games, I noticed.
I'm not 100% sure, mate. It doesn't look like it from what I've seen. But then it's not giving me normally what I see here. So, no, I think he's, everyone knows about him. The guy's been spoken about quite often in with transfers to teams in the top 6, etc. So, I think, I don't need to bang on about this guy. He's known, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then my next one is
maybe he will, maybe he won't. Who knows? It's all hypothetical anyway. East side. I mean, it's not to be. This isn't to be taken literally. I mean, this is just Duke's opinion on who he would in a parallel universe would like to pluck from other teams. It may or may not happen, like I say, but I mean, there's a few that you've come up with, Duke. Well, I'm like, yeah, that's an interesting one, especially ones from the Bundesliga, because I know you're pretty hot on your Bundesliga talent.
I know my Bundesliga, mate. Yeah. Ken, how old is Adebayo, if I may ask? I'm curious on that one Because if he's in we've
Oh
already
yes,
got,
he was.
he was, yeah. But again,
I forgot about that.
so was Evans, and it turns out that she was a lying sack of shit. So
Yeah.
I'm curious as to know how old Adebayo is. If you can find out for me, or if
I'll
Ken
tell you
can
what,
get back to me in there.
Elijah. Let me just Google it.
I think
You-
we've got, when you look at what we've got already as youngsters, I'm curious as to how old he is
He
before I go on to my next
is
one.
23.
Yeah, see, yeah, he's at
He'll
an
be
age,
24 on January the 7th, and he's
You know what?
currently at
For what it
Luton.
cost us, I'd be all over that as well. I think Kent's right.
6'4". Jesus,
Yeah,
he's a big boy.
thanks. Oh, him. Sorry. It's after 9 o'clock. 2 minutes. Right, my next one. Then I've got 3 left.
Yep.
I have a CDM, and I have an attacking midfielder and a striker for you.
Okay.
So my
Who's
CDM,
CDM?
comes straight out of the Bundesliga.
Fair enough.
Again, if as I've said, same with Basuma, if we were to lose Rice, if we were to lose Rice or Souček, Conrad Lima.
I was going to say it's either him or it's Xavier Schlager or whatever his name is.
No, Conrad Lima.
Okay.
Again, he's another good player. Austrian international, 18 caps, 2 goals. Again, he's another solid. He's a workhorse. He's been out injured for a bit. He has abductor problems, but he's an absolute workhorse.
Yeah,
absolute workhorse. Proper box to box style midfielder. He, he would fit with what we do. What we ask of those two in the middle of the park to get into the box and back. He breaks up play really well. Again, we're kind of looking at the price of him now, 23.5 million-ish. Again, he's not even out of the realms of a possibility for us right now. He came out of the Red Bull model, as you can see there. So he's still kind of sitting in and around that Red Bull model. So
again, he can play central, defensive, and right.
Yeah,
3 different positions.
Personally, I'd stick him in a CDM role. Like I say, if we could, in all honesty, if we were to lose Rice and Souček for 160 million, because let's not lie, if Rice is worth what Rice is worth, Souček's worth 50, 60 million on his own, in my opinion. Might be wrong. Others might disagree
maybe not
with
this
me.
season. On the basis of this season, possibly not.
But if we could bring in those other 3, I'd have him in there all day long. Right, I'm going to go with my attacker. No, I'm going to go with my striker first. He was the one that we were linked with.
Okay.
Back in August. He's the Leon centre forward.
Hang on a minute.
Go
on. I'm just letting this load up on Transfer Market. It's just
no worries. So he's
taking its time.
He's former Celtic striker.
Oh,
13 goals in 25 international appearances. He's only 25. By the time he becomes available on a free contract, he's going to be 27.
I can't find him.
Moussa Dembele.
He must be on the next page. Hang on.
He's currently, if you're looking for him at cost price, he's only worth 18 million at the minute.
Found him.
He's
injured at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yep. But again, it's a case of the in the window, not this one, but the next one.
Yeah.
I just think that, again, if you look at what I've looked at with like the forward line, Nketiah, Origi, Isco that was in there, Belotti, you know, he's kind of in the same sort of, you know, in the same sort of region cost-wise of those players, you know. So I've tried to keep it within the realms of a possibility of these things happening. I've not gone stupid, like I say, with the likes of, you know, I know Kylian Mbappe's out of contract at the end of this season, but I've not put him on there because it's not a feasible.
No.
It's not a feasible transfer. Whereas these ones are. Kent's got one in the chat there. Again, I looked at him earlier. I don't know.
He was the fella. He was the fella on loan back end of last season at West Brom, wasn't he?
I have no idea. Don't know
Yeah,
a great deal about him.
Yeah, he looked good.
Look.
He did look good.
I passed it up because I don't know a great deal about him. Again, this is just my opinion. If I was, you know, if I was to be there or thereabouts, then fantastic. But yeah, listen. Him and the last one. Now, the last one that I've gone for 20, I think. I think he's 20. He's 20 years old. He'll be 22 by the time he becomes available. He's attacking midfield. He currently doesn't have any caps. He hasn't won any trophies, and he currently still plays in Argentina. He currently plays for Vélez Sarsfield.
Okay.
Now, I have heard a hell of a lot about this young man on social media chats. Certainly via the gentleman that I've spoken to, Gatesy, about the scout. I've read up a lot on him, on his
I've clocked him.
Now, I actually think he's confirmed a deal to go to North America.
Really?
I think so. I'm just having a quick look. I think he's going to Atlanta, possibly.
Has that deal been agreed, or it's just in principle?
No, it looks like it's been agreed. So this kind of takes this guy off of here. This was 20 days ago, so I'm not actually 100% behind this now. Oh no, he's apparently he's agreed to join Atlanta United in January.
Okay.
Thiago Almeida.
Yep.
Is the kid I'm talking about.
There he is.
Very again, not seen anything from him personally. I've not, you know, I'm only going by what I've read. And the second that I saw his name crop up, there you go. If you look there on the left, on the right there, Gates, the relevant news. It's the top one there. No, come down. There you go. No, up. Right there, above national team.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So I've just opened that up, and it states
becomes the most valuable player in the MLS. Okay. Interesting.
So I don't know how much. I don't know what that's what that means. But again, very good. From what I've read, has a fantastic career ahead of him. So you know, I kind of rules that one out.
That's a shame.
Hammerhead. That I've seen that. I've just seen that. Yeah, that's.
Oh, hang on a minute. He played in the Euros, didn't he?
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked the look of Yokushlu, to be fair. I thought he looked a good player. I thought he was one of the bright sort of points of the latter half of West Brom season I thought, despite the fact they obviously got relegated. But isn't he in Spain?
I think he is, yes.
Funny, I don't know who he plays for in Spain. I don't know if it's like Osasuna or Espanyol or something like that. It's not a Real Madrid or a Barcelona. I'm fairly convinced of that, but I think it was like Osasuna. Celta Vigo. Yeah.
Celta Vigo, and his transfer market, mate, it's only 6.5 million.
That's nothing. And when's his contract run to?
I think it's the same as what we're talking about. Same sort of time frame.
2023. Oh, okay.
I think so.
He'd be one. Yeah, I think I'd be looking at getting him in. I think I'd wait until the sort of like the summer transfer window. I don't think I'd pull the trigger on that one in January. But
mate, it's only 6.5 million. Or just under 6.5 million from right now. So, and he's only 27. So it gives us another option in there. But at the moment, in a sense, you've got Krau, we've got Souček, we've got Noble, we've got Rice.
That's why I'm saying maybe that would be a player to sort of investigate in the summer window rather than in this coming one, perhaps. I think that would
and then
probably
you've
be a
also got
decent shout.
Lanzini that can sit in there as well, isn't it? Yeah, again, just going back to what Trod just said there, 1.9 meters. 1.9 meters. Yeah.
Can he bring a step ladder?
Beast of a player that, again, as you said earlier, Trudge, from our set pieces and everything else, we'd be unbeatable, wouldn't we? Jesus H. Webbs. Can you imagine?
Anyone else in this particular segment?
No,
that's us done.
Not now. I mean, there are. I mean, mate, I could, if you wanted me to, I could quite happily go through, like the Bundesliga in general, and just pick out, a scattergun of players that I feel not only see this. It's the approach I've tried to put here.
Yeah,
is like I said earlier, I'll have a look at players in Germany and, players that stand out. You've got Lewandowski, you've got, Haaland, you've got all of these superstars that, let's be honest, unless we qualify, unless we qualify for Champions League on a consistent basis, these guys are out of our remit because they want to win trophies or play, so they're kind of out of our remit. But when you when you look and, the names that I've picked out, Ginter, Sakaria, Lima, Akanji, these guys are Guerrero on a kind of, is on that kind of top end. They're all doable. They're all doable.
You've upset him, Hammerhead. You've upset him. He's seen it. He rated this guy. Duke rated Wang Yichan.
I still do, and I just think we really missed the boat. And after talking to, was it James at the weekend, and he says that it really does look like they're going to buy him for
13 million, wasn't it? Yeah,
13 million quid.
Crazy.
Absolutely breaks my heart. I mean, listen, I am still, despite the fact, Mr. Gates, you keep sending me fucking news reports linking my starlet to other Premier League clubs, including Peking Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope for Karim Adeyemi. Hammerhead, I completely agree with you. I think he's an outstanding player. He's got pace to burn. He's very much like Antonio, except Antonio has the speed of a gazelle, the grace of a rhino, and the football skills of a hippopotamus. Whereas Hwang Hee-chan has the grace of a gazelle, the speed of a gazelle, and the skills of a footballer, which is kind of like the package that you want. He's an amazing, like I say, outstanding player. Loved him for a good couple of years now, and very disappointed to see him go. So I mean, if you go back and watch one of the episodes of the transfer deadline day, when I see that come up, I kind of just look down at my feet, and I think we're still like relatively early in the day, so I can't be effing and blinding on the channel. So I, was incredibly pissed off. Yeah, Kent, you're right. He was an absolute monster. He's kind of the player that we really want Antonio to be. Antonio's physical and quick. Yet, as we saw I can't remember who we were playing against. Was it Liverpool? It might have been Liverpool, when he ran with the ball and then left the ball where it was and kept running. I kind of that's the sort of shit that winds me up,
Yeah.
And then he'll go and do something absolutely immaculate, and score an absolute worldie like he did for Jamaica against America. All right, it was against America, and I could probably buried that from that distance out against that keeper. It weren't exactly didn't cover himself with glory. It was the young Man City goalkeeper, wasn't it?
What, Zach Steffen?
Zach Steffen, I think it was, and he certainly didn't fill himself with glory on that one. But listen,
let me just put you back in the shoes of David Moyes just for a second, then, Duke. So obviously you've gone through your list.
Yeah.
One that, if you was David Moyes, which one would you go for in January? Which one would you go for summer? And which one would you potentially go for January a year down the track? One star in each.
Oh, okay. Out of my list, or including some
your
of the
list
names that have been mentioned?
Your list.
Okay,
your
list.
David Moyes.
So if I had to pick one in January, I think I would probably go with.
Given what we need right now.
See, right now it'd have to be a toss-up between either Belotti, or Matthias Ginter, with the fact that he can play anywhere, 3 positions out of 4 in the back line. I'd probably have to go with Ginter.
Okay.
Knowing that there's a distinct possibility that Lingard will be joining us in January, which gives us an option up front if something happens to Antonio. Ginter would be my go-to in January. Again, he's out of contract in July, so it'll be a relatively, maybe a £10 million fee.
Yeah.
In the
and he'd
summer,
fit into. You can see him stylistically fitting with David Moyes.
He'd walk straight into partnering Zuma ahead of Diop and Dawson all day long. I would then probably, again, a toss-up in the summer between Conrad Lima and Dennis Zakaria. If I had to, there'd be one of the two that I'd go for in January.
You wouldn't go for a striker?
In July. No, because again, there's that distinct possibility that that's going to happen. If I had to pick out of my list, I mean, the chances of Belotti already coming in on a free, I'm kind of looking at, if I was to go, I'd go with Ginter now, maybe for 12 million. Lima or Zakaria. Zakaria would be free in July.
Yeah.
Lima probably, 20, 22 million. And then Guerrero at left back in the following January, who's out of contract. If it's all hypothetical, because these guys are, Guerrero is one of the top left backs in Bundesliga at the moment. So the chances of him not signing a contract between now and probably the end of the season are minimal, or even between now and December next year are minimal. Ginter, again, he's not part of.
Listen, I'm just putting it up there. I didn't write that. I didn't tell Hamid to put that question in.
I'll cover this quickly. Listen, if he joins us in January, I will support him and get behind him like I do every other player that's at our club. It looks like it's going to happen, and I'm happy it's going to happen. Would he be my first choice? Not necessarily. Now, I'm kind of coming back from where I was about 3 months ago, and Gatesy, this.
Yep.
I was very anti-Lingard walking back into my club because I felt that he decided to snub us on the back of what was a bloody good career revival for him. Go to United and now sit and rot. I think that the Ronaldo signing buggered Ole's plans for what he had for United. I think it also buggered Lingard's return there slightly. Don't get me wrong, he still had the rest of the transfer deadline day to say, I want to go West Ham. He didn't. The fact that he turned us down really did peeve me quite a lot. Now, I know
to be fair, I mean, Ronaldo was his hero growing up.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not gonna deny, but if he does come back, and there it is. If he does come back, he does not walk back into that team because based on what he did last season, no chance
He
in
will in
hell.
January when Ben Rama goes to the AFCON.
Yeah, listen, because but that's not walking into the team. It's basically a lack of options at our disposal at that point. You know, so he'll get into the team when Benny's not there. But again, he's going to have to earn that position when Benny comes back, because for me, that's Benny's position and Benny starts. Fornell starts. You know, my concern, I think Kent mentioned it earlier, Casey, and I was going to go back to it and kind of everything kind of carried on moving. About I think it was Kent. I'm scrolling.
Go on, you can find it.
About whether, there it is. About whether Moyes will revert to a 3 at the back, until the window opens. And I'll be honest with you, Ken, I fucking hope not. I really hope not, because what that means is that means mass. That means King Arthur, and at left, in a defensive. No, it does.
Not necessarily.
No, it does, because I
Ben
don't
Johnson
want to
could shift
listen.
across.
No, I don't want to shift him over Gatesy. I don't. I want to see him stay out on the right, because actually, mate, he's blown me away this season out there, and I feel sorry for Soufal. What you could do is you could put Soufal at centre back, but then you're still running the risk of a right footer on the left hand side. Listen, we've had. We've had a situation where we've had Cresswell out there. I hope he doesn't have to return to a back 3. I hope not.
I can see it happening, though. Don't think it will happen against Vienna, interestingly enough, but I wouldn't be shocked to see us go 3 at the back against City.
Oh, that spells battering, Gatesy. That spells. Listen, I personally think we're on a hiding to nothing anyway against City, because they look amazing at the minute. And I do think they look amazing at the minute. I'm not in the league; they just look outstanding. It's easy for them right now. I don't even think they're breaking, second gear, third gear at times. They're controlling games and they're strolling through. Again, as Andy, as I said earlier, I was looking at it realistically. And for me, realistically, these are all cracking players that I've picked. They are all within touching distance. Even Rafael Guerrero, who I consider to be, out of all of those, well, maybe Isco, because I just wouldn't have. But we've been linked with him. But out of my picks, Guerrero would be the one that I'd say would be out of reach. Just, maybe if we can finish 4th this season, then he'd be within touching distance next season. The rest of them, all fantastic players, all European experience in European Europa League or Champions League. They've got international experience, all of them, apart from the young lad at Vélez Sarsfield. So they're all within our kind of range that we could consider moving for. No, Hammerhead. No,
not this one.
No, you've mentioned Fredericks on the left. No,
you're not a fan. Do you know who else I thought of? Because he experimented with it in a. I don't know if it was a pre-season friendly or what, but Pablo Fornals as a left wing back.
I'd rather that than Cresswell, than Fredericks or Masuaku.
What, you'd rather have Fornals as the left wing back?
Oh, mate, that man's engine is unbelievable. That man's engine is outstanding. And I'd rather see him out there, actually. I think he could do a job. Okay.
So Cresswell left, Dawson central, Zuma right would be your back 3 if we reverted to that, do you think?
Yeah.
And then you'd have Ben Johnson as the right wing.
I see what Hammerhead's saying now. That you come in and he's got a good left foot, Fredericks. But I just think that Fornals has not necessarily has a better end. Yeah, I think he has a better engine long term. I think with the problem is with Fredericks, he's again like Antonio. He's got so much pace, he burns it, and then he screws himself over for, like, if you look at the injury he picked up after the United, when he set up, was it Fornals for the goal?
Yeah, and he went down the dip.
And he kind of went down the dip because he was going at full tilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Again, listen, it's all hypothetical, isn't it? We sit here. Listen, there's a reason that Moyes is paid X amount of thousands a week, and I sit here in front of you lovely people talking to you because I just don't have a fucking clue when it comes to, you know, these guys. He works for these guys on a daily basis. Yeah, it's a fair point, Trodge. Yeah, he did.
Can't argue there.
That was against Wolves. In fact, was that when Poland
possibly? Yeah,
I think it was for the goal. I think it was Fornals that he got for. So, yeah, I mean, listen.
Oh, you lucky boy!
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, the last time we played there, I thought we played really well, and we were unfortunate to not come away with something out of that game. You know, I thought we could have come away with a point. Listen, this is a better season for us. Let's not dig around. We're having a great time of it, and regardless of what the result is on Sunday, I just that's amazing. That's cheered me up a little bit more. They've only got Mahrez and Foden.
I was going to say though, look, who are they bringing in his place? Oh God, that'll be Bernardo Silva or
yeah, exactly. You know, it's not like they haven't got a veritable smorgasbord of talent sitting there. But listen, go up there and turn up. That's all I ask, is that they turn up.
Yeah.
They try to play. They don't, you know, Liverpool game at home last season is a prime example. You know, we were very fearful. This season we played against Liverpool and we played our game. If you remember rightly, Gates, in the preview, I said, play our game, make them change what they do. And I feel the same way here. You know, I feel the same way here. Let's play our game. Let's go up there and do what we do. And let's make City think twice. And listen, we'll talk about that Saturday.
We will.
We've got another video to do tomorrow.
We have. So, should we end it there, my friend?
I'm happy to. It was enjoyable. And I'll tell you what we'll do. So, I've lost what day of the week it is.
It's Tuesday.
So, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We're doing the pre-match for
pre-match tomorrow.
Yep.
We've got the game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Post-match on Friday.
Post-match Friday. Pre-match Saturday. Game on Sunday. Post-match Monday. Tuesday, possibly a day off.
If you're lucky.
I'll tell you what I might do is I might cobble something together for Thursday. That was the one. Tomato.
Yeah.
Is I might put something together and I might just trawl the German league for signings and just have a quick look at what's about. But we'll talk about that off air. Might even do that one next Tuesday if we've got nothing else to do. We can probably do that one Tuesday.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Cool. And guys, please, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, thank you very much indeed for your support. As always, Duke, is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yes, something I saw online over the last couple of days. That I am going to start promoting via my social media, and I want to do something here. It's the whole Help Me campaign. It's obviously been going for a while. I know if you guys have seen adverts on social media and on TV, but it's the it's that sign. Gatesy, your eyes are closed. You've obviously frozen. So
I've got no idea what you're on about.
So basically, it's people that are suffering from domestic abuse.
Okay.
Whether anyone else has seen it, it's something I'm going to incorporate into my social media. Is if you see someone and they put the flat of their hand up and then they put their thumb across and four fingers down, it means help me. And it's basically it's a way of signalling for help. without alerting the person
Without,
that's obviously beating 10 buckets of crap out of you. So it's just something I want to use my platform. Listen, we've got this. We're doing some good stuff for Isla and everything else. So it's just something I want to put out there and go again. So if any of you out there see men and women, let's not mess around. You know, blokes do get beaten in the privacy of their own home by some, unsavoury characters. It's not just women that are beaten, as you know. So if you do see anyone that kind of tries to get your attention with a flat of their hand and does this, which is the help me signal, 999 is where you need to be going with that, contacting someone that can come and help, because obviously they're very fearful of being able to speak out, and obviously anything we can do to help is
well, I've learned something new there. I had no idea.
I'll send you some links to it, Gatesy, because I've seen quite a lot on social media. I believe it's been around for a while. It's the same as the the Ask for Angela thing that we see a lot of. It started off in America, whereas if you're on a date in a bar and you feel uncomfortable, you can come to the bar and ask for Angela, and the team behind the bar will either call you a cab to get you home safely or take you out the back to if you're that worried. So that something like that always crops up every few months within. Obviously I'm in this industry, so I know quite a lot about that. But the help me one, I've seen showing up quite a bit on social media. So I do believe there is a campaign out there, but I just want to, anyone watching us, that if we can make 10, 12 people aware, that's the same sort of thing. It's basically a basic help me kind of thing. So it can be for abduction, it can be for domestic abuse, things like that. But it's we've got 12 people in the chat. I've just told they might go off and tell 2 or 3 others each, and all of a sudden it becomes more of a known thing. Like you say, Gatesy, you didn't know.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So just something
I've
that
learned
cropped up
something
earlier. So there you go.
Okay, cool.
We can help one person with that shit. It's great, right?
Definitely. Duke, what are we?
Oh, we're fucking massive.
We are. Come on, you irons.